Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Thank you. We're going to have to keep doors shut. We have to keep doors shut. We have to keep doors shut. We have to keep doors shut. You know what, John? Oh, we did? Or can we stop it? No. Okay, we're live. Okay, the meeting has started.
Moderator, this is Roy Kavanaugh checking in.
Mary Ann, could you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, he's very much.
Kathleen, can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you.
We're just having some difficulty with some audio issues. Just be a moment.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Who's that?
Yes.
Yes.
Who's me? Okay, I'm going to start the meeting. This is Tom Lynn, Chairman of Town Council. I'd like to ask Lisa Catania to read the procedures of the public hearing. Lisa, please.
Good afternoon. This session is being recorded, both video and audio. Lisa Catania, the Executive Administrative Assistant, and Michael Simmons, the town's IT Director, will be the meeting administrators. A link to the video audio is posted to the town website. Most people attending this meeting will be muted. The town council members and staff will not be muted. Individuals will be unmuted at the time they are recognized to ask a question. Town council members and staff will generally be keeping video of themselves on throughout the meeting unless they are attending via telephone only. Members of the public should feel free to leave their video on or off. However, okay, I'll repeat these. Apparently someone has unmuted me. This is a web-based virtual public hearing, so we are operating under the following procedures. This session is being recorded, both video and audio. Lisa Catania, the Executive Administrative Assistant, and Michael Simmons, the town's IT Director, will be the meeting administrators. A link to the video audio is posted to the town's website. Most people attending this meeting will be muted. The town council members and staff will not be muted. Individuals will be unmuted at the time they are recognized to ask a question. Town council members and staff will generally be keeping video of themselves on throughout the meeting unless they are attending by a telephone only. Members of the public should feel free to leave their audio on or off. However, they will be asked to turn on their video when speaking. A picture tells 1,000 words and can be useful in conveying your meeting. If video is not available to you, you will not be precluded from speaking or providing public testimony. Individuals desiring to speak will be asked to state their name and give their home address. We will read the public hearing rules at the start of the public hearing. Please use the chat feature or the raise your hand feature for the meeting administrators to know that you've raised your hand to speak. Members of the public may only speak during the public hearing and only after being recognized. If a member of the public speaks outside of the public hearing or creates an audio or video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of the meeting administrators or the town council chair. Mr. Wynn?
Appreciate it. Now I'm going to go to emails. I'm going to read the public emails in their entirety. I only have a few. First, this is from Alex Horvath in Litchfield Road, Clearview Avenue. And it reads as, hi, longtime resident here of 19 and a half years. My question is that, like 2+ years ago, the town took $6.3 million bond to do some street fixing, paving, potholes, sweeping, etc. I keep checking the town website, Department of Public Works page, and there is nothing updated. There hasn't been anything done. My street has at least 6 huge potholes, asphalt is cracking. I have a drainage issue as well. Mr. Brunich out to Tilda. He said the town will come out to do some work. I have spoken to Miss Catherine Duplessis on multiple times on the phone about this in years past when the town was good for the bond. So my question is, where did this bond go? Did it go to the renovation of the city hall? That's poorly over budgeted. Anyone looked at Nova Scotia, Baldwin, Clearview, Hamilton, just to name a few. Taxes go up, but goes to schools. It seems to me that no one in this town cares. That's mine. That's fine. But maybe the taxes should stop going up so much. Or maybe we get a first selection that the town residents can vote in or out. Thank you. First of all, I've got to say that that bond that you were talking about, Mr. Horvath, was a 2013 bond. It's been long utilized, number one. And number two, just to clarify, none of this fund has not been used by the City Hall, or has been used by the City Hall. And we do not repair potholes or sweeping or et cetera. It's just for bridges and new construction for our roads. So I hope that answers your question. And I will move on to number 2. This is from Susan Cristiolini, taxpayer in Watertown. To whom it may concern, after reviewing the proposed town budget and Board of Education budget for this coming fiscal year, I have comments and questions. Because of the COVID virus, the economy is on all areas of this country have experienced a troubling downturn, including Watertown. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell indicated this week that because of this virus, the United States is experiencing unemployment as effect. Oh, I'm sorry. It's very small. The United States experienced 20 to 25% increase in unemployment next year, which is considerably above the 14% we are experiencing today. Unemployment affects almost all aspects of life, personal finances, especially inability to pay mortgages, credit card debt, tax, medical bills, loss of business, etc. The food line for the people who are hurting have never been this long. With this information in mind, it is extremely important for Watertown to reduce its budget and the Board of Education's budget at least to the budget of the current year, if not further. An article in the Town Times stated that the administration may borrow funds from our general fund to keep the mill rate the same. This is like putting the balance on a credit card that you can't pay back. What will we do next year and the next if the economy doesn't improve? And more importantly, how high will the mill rate have to be in the near future to accommodate the expenses we've been authorizing by the delusion of having money we need? The taxpayers of Watertown could be facing a large mill rate tax increase if this strategy is not followed. Is followed. Question number 1. Does the town guarantee the amount of money from the state of Connecticut for schools that is included in this budget? That answer is no. There is never a guarantee. Our town council every single year with our budget, along with the state of Connecticut,
We could see you.
either after the budget is adopted, it either increases our funding from the state, decreases it, or keeps it the same. And again, this is no different. We have no guarantees on where that money is going to be, if any. Second question, is the town guaranteed the amount of money from the state of Connecticut for tax revenue, the POP program, that is included in this budget? Again, that answer is no. There is no guarantee. It's pretty fluid. But we do put in the budget in anticipation every single year. And number 3, is the town guaranteed the amount of money from the state of Connecticut for casino revenue that is included in this budget? Again, we don't know. It's way too early to say. Now, number 4 is a different budgetary question. I'm going to ask Sue Sapone, Finance Director, to take number 4. Sue?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Question number 4 is on page 3 of the budget book. You will see there's a section of other revenue coming in. The increase in other revenue this year is the sale of town-owned properties, and also in this case, money being taken from the fund balance. We also budgeted an additional amount for interest on investments because we are collecting more money there. That's why there is a roughly a $900,000 difference between last year's and this year's expected revenue in the other section, which once again is on page 3 of the budget book. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Now, number 5 email in question is directly about the Board of Education budget, and I will turn this question over to Dr. Harrison, Superintendent of Schools. Dr. Harrison.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. There was a question about the assistant principal and principal line going up 13%. I wanted to just clarify that. The reason for that increase is that we have a new administrative position in our admin union for this current school year and then the following school year. That was a position that was shifted from the teacher's line to the administrator's line. And so while you'll see that as a significant increase in one area, it's also reflected as a decrease under teacher salaries. There was a question about the nurses and school physicians and also the coaches. And I could talk about those together because those increase nurses and school physician up 8.3%. And the coaches up 8.05%. That's specifically athletic coaches. And both of those are related to contractual obligations in the negotiated contracts for this upcoming school year with the nurses union, and then coaches, athletic coaches are part of the teachers union. There's also a question about workers' compensation insurance going down 21.23%. And a question around if the wages are going up, how can we see the workers' comp insurance going down? Our business manager, Tom DeStasio, is also on the panel with us tonight, and I'm going to have him answer that for us.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Just to talk about workers' compensation a little bit, we are self-funded for workers' compensation. So on an annual basis, we budget an annual contribution to our workers' compensation fund. Over the years, we've budgeted a certain amount, and that fund has accumulated a balance. Upon reviewing that balance and also looking into the projected cost for workers' compensation claims, based on a report that we received from PMA Management, which is our third-party administrator for workers' compensation claims, we were able to reduce that annual contribution for the coming year while still making sure that we're able to cover the projected cost of claims. So that's the way that we've been able to achieve a decrease in that line for this particular year.
Thank you, Tom. There was also a question about technical and professional services going up. And I want to talk about this one in connection with our special education outplacement or out of district costs going up by 34%, because they're both two sides of the same coin. When we look at the technical and professional services going up, that increase of about $166,000 over last year, there's a total projected cost of $1.69 million. This represents the cost required for services with in-district contractors that come in, people like occupational therapists and physical therapists that work specifically with our students with disabilities, our special education students. And the increase in the number of students with disabilities within the district, we've seen an increase over time. This is one of the things that we had as part of our budget presentation and also shared with the town council at one of their previous meetings, was this shift in the number of special education students that we've seen over the last 10 years. So with that trend, we would anticipate seeing some increases in the expenses related as well. In particular, these around technical and professional services. The other area where this is also connected is the special education out of district costs. So the average out of district tuition is about $80,000, somewhere between $75,000 and $80,000. And so when a student moves into our district, or we've identified that a student has special needs that cannot be met within our regular programs that we have in the schools, then we are bound to pay for the services that are necessary for them. And so that's where you'll see that increase in those costs. again, with the number of students that we have, and then also in particular, the increase in the number of students that we have whose special needs are more impactful from a budgetary standpoint. One of the things that we've done as a district to mitigate that is building in some additional in-district programs to offset some of those costs. So we have a program that started several years ago at Swift that is reducing the number of students we would otherwise have to outplace. We started a new program last year at John Trumbull that's also reducing costs for us. And in this current budget that we have proposed for next year, the plan is to create a new program for our 3rd through 5th grade students who have specific behavioral and emotional needs at that grade level. That will save us a significant amount of money, even if we just have 2 students enrolled in that program. It would cover the cost essentially of what it would cost to outplace them. We anticipate having about 4 students in that program, and so that program, like the ones that we started in other schools, will over time really decrease potential costs. This is not unique for our district with these numbers going up. This is very much in line with the state trends related to special education students. I jumped over because I wanted to connect those two together and jumped over heating oil. Oil is lower than ever, as we know currently. However, we're showing an increase in next year's budget. And I'm going to ask Mr. DeStazio to speak to that.
Thanks, Dr. Harrison. So we purchase heating oil through a consortium. A number of districts all get together and combine their purchasing power to negotiate rates that we lock in with a vendor for heating oil in advance. Prior to the decrease in heating oil costs that we've seen, the drastic decrease that we've seen, we locked in rate for the 2020-2021 year. That rate was a little bit less than what we paid in current years, but fairly consistent. Having said that, the increase is primarily the result of when we look at heating oil usage year over year. So we have our locked in rate, and we combine that rate with what we anticipate our usage to be. Based on a 5 to 10 year trend of our oil usage, we've come up with a projection that did result in an increase to heating oil costs, despite the consistent or small decrease to the negotiated rate.
Thanks, Tom. And the last 2 areas that I want to talk about are maintenance and custodial supplies, and then also other supplies. So when we look at maintenance and custodial supplies, it's showing an increase of 40%. Just want to put that in context with giving that an actual number. So that's about a $60,000 increase, which is in a district our size, we have over time really made cuts to the supplies line for our maintenance and custodians. And what we've seen is that we've been working hard to try to stretch those out. And so after looking at the trends over the last 10 years, the prices of products, we thought like this would represent the increase needed in order to make sure that our custodians and maintenance workers have the supplies that they need to keep our students safe, keep our buildings clean, maintain the buildings. And, you know, this is a good opportunity just to mention with some of the challenges that we anticipate having next year after reopening after COVID-19, we are anticipating having some additional expenses related to the cleaning and the maintaining of our buildings in order to meet the our local health department's guidelines related to sanitation in our buildings. And then the last area is just other supplies. You'll see here that this is an increase of 21%, almost 22%, but it's really only about $7,000 when you look at the actual amount. And the largest contributing factor here is increasing the number of library supplies that we have for our students. So in the past, I've shared that annually we do an audit of all of our school libraries to look at the average age of our collection to make sure that we have current resources that are available for our students. And our librarians make recommendations of new purchases every year. And so that's that small increase in that line And I think that I tackled all of those areas that were mentioned in the email that came.
I'm going to now read the paragraph that Ms. Christiana Landing wrote also to end her email. First of all, I'd like to say something that I've never said before, but it's very obvious that I have difficulty reading. I lost vision in my right eye in the military 40 years ago. And it's very hard to read with one eye, especially when you're 70. And I guess it's now I'm blind in one eye and I can't see out of the other one. So I wish I just asked for some patience. So here I go. I cannot stress enough how important it is to all the people of Watertown, especially those who pay taxes, to reduce these budgets in preparation for what's promising to be a long road of recovery. With the state budget approaching $1 billion deficit, with no guarantee relief from the federal government, and a federal budget approaching a $5 trillion deficit, it is imperative that we prepare as we would in our own personal budget for what will surely be difficult and extreme for many. The COVID virus is highly expected to return to the fall, accompanied by the flu du jour. Thank you, Susan Cristiano. I'm sure I pronounced that right. So those are the emails that we received, and I now open the meeting for comments and questions from the public.
At this
Anyway.
time, if someone has raised their hand, I'll bring it to your attention, Mr. Wynn.
Wait, Susan was first? Susan come in? Okay. You tell her like it's now open. Susan.
Hello?
Krista, is that the Susan Cristianoli?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it is.
You're on.
Okay, I just wanted to say, I live on Linkfield Road. The reception, the internet reception here is absolutely abysmal. This meeting is difficult. The voices are coming in and coming out. And I have a high, a really good system here. It's very difficult to hear you, to speak, and wonder if you're hearing me. I can't hear the answer. I'm only hearing partial answers to the questions. And I really don't understand why this meeting could not have been held in person at the auditorium in the high school or some larger venue. We're going grocery shopping with masks. We're going to church. We're going into Marshall's with masks. I think it was really a bad idea to do this online, because I know my neighbors and other friends are also having difficulty hearing you tonight. We are not getting the full advantage of this meeting. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Do you have a
You heard
question
me.
or, okay. Is there a question with that?
No,
or are you
just a comment. Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Next participant. Catherine Cameron. You are on.
Catherine Camera, 31 Cottage Place. I wanted to know, when you said there was, Susan Zapone was talking about sales of property in town. I'd like to know what's sold, if it's actually sold already, if there's something under contract, what property you're talking about, and what the amounts would be, if it's more than one.
Sue,
Yes,
you
good
have your,
evening.
that is, go ahead, Sue, please.
Yes, we are estimating the two buildings, the town hall annex and the town hall, going up for sale next fiscal year. So we put a revenue amount on page 4 of the budget book, $308,613,000 is an estimate to receive.
And that's for both of them combined, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And next. Is Ellen Camillo here?
Did it sell? Past tense? I can't understand them. The lady on Linkfield is right. It's cold over here.
Is this Ellen?
Me?
Ellen Tinios, T-I-N-I-O.
Do we have a question?
Are you on?
Yes, we don't have a question right now.
One more time.
Oh, sorry, we didn't have a question at the time, just, we just couldn't hear well until the gentleman beforehand.
Who is this talking?
Identify.
This is George Tenios. I'm also here with Ellen Tenios.
Okay, does she have a question or a comment? Or you can help her with it?
Yes, not hear the
What is it?
gentleman.
It was just the comment that I just mentioned, that we just couldn't hear the gentleman beforehand. If it's possible to improve the microphone somehow and we could hear it better, that would be appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next. Is that it now? That's it. Okay, Susan Crystallini, you have another question or comment? Susan, no? You're self-muted. Can you unmute yourself if you have a question or a comment, Christine?
Yes,
Hearing none? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't have another question.
Okay, thank you. Camera, do you have another question or comment?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments from the public or questions? Hearing none, we'll go to town council. Town council, do you have any comments or comments that you would like to make? Council. Any?
This is Jonathan.
Okay. Who?
Jonathan.
Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close this meeting.
Mr. Chairman.
And there will be a
Mr.
2-minute break before the town council opens up their meeting and the second meeting for the approval of the budget. Thank you very much. We'll be back in 2. Pardon? Jonathan,
Hello.
I apologize. I didn't hear you. I mean, I guess this system is a little bit difficult. So, Jonathan, go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, I just had a quick question for the Board of Ed. I know year after year, as I've said on the town council, it seems like a lot of the increases the Board of Ed budget are related to special ed in one way or the other. And I'm hearing $25,000 to $80,000 per kid that we have to send out of town for the education needs. I was just wondering at what point we bring more of those services back into town so that we're not sending them outward. It sounds like there are certain programs that are in town, but it seems like we're still paying a lot of money to send kids out of town for the services they need.
I can answer that question. Thank you. So a couple of things. I think you're right. So you mentioned that we've made a really strong effort to bring some resources back into town so that we have our 3 behavior programs for our students. And well, we have 2 behavior programs, one K2, one in middle school. And of course, the proposal is that we would have one for grades 3 through 5. In addition to that, we have the Watertown Transition Academy. Those students, if we didn't have that program within the district, we would have to be paying for them to be outplaced. We have a special program over at Judson Elementary School for 3rd through 5th grade students who are students with autism. And we are able to bring in some additional services while still keeping those students as a part of our district. When we look over time, we've actually really increased the number of programs that we have and a real strong effort to keep students in their district, not only from a fiscal responsible standpoint, but also because we want students to stay connected to their own And so with that, I think that, we definitely would like to do more of that in the future. But one of the things that we've seen is that the cost of in addition to the increases in the number of students that we're having to outplace, the cost of outplacing students continues to increase year over year. And in addition to that, the cost of transportation. The other thing that we've seen this particular school year that also is reflected in next school year's budget is that we've had some students who have moved into town, students who are already outplaced and have been outplaced in their previous town. And then because they are now residents in our school district, that cost has to be assumed by the school district. Before any student is outplaced, there's always a team meeting with administrators, with the teachers, with the parents to try to find what the best placement is for that student. But I would say that, one of the things that we've consistently done and really been focused on is trying to keep as many of those students within the district as possible.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Dr. Harrison. Anybody else on the council have any questions or any statements or questions? None? Oh, yeah, unmute yourself if you want to make a statement. You may be talking without us hearing. Okay, now I've heard none. So let's, now I'm going to close this meeting out, and we will return for a break in 2 minutes. We can mute now. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to remind all council members to unmute themselves if they have any comments. And this meeting is now open for the town council and adopting of the budget for Watertown. And I'd like to say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, say aye. Rachel Ryan? Unmute. I knew she's here. Rachel Ryan, you can unmute yourself and say aye. Kate Duplisty? What's going on? Kate, say aye. Unmute yourself.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank
Paul
you.
Rinaldi? I don't think he's here. Jonathan Raymond? Raymond? Jonathan Ramsey? Jonathan Ramsey? Unmute yourself. This is Jonathan. Mary Ann Rosa? Mary Ann Rosa? She's here.
Hello.
Say aye. Unmute. Thank you. Kathleen Ramo?
Here.
Anthony DeBona? Unmute.
Here. You
Thank
muted
you.
me.
Lou Raza?
Here.
Lou Raza?
Here.
Here. Tom Wynn? Here. Okay, well, we have a quorum
Tom.
anyway.
Tom,
Yeah.
excuse me. This is Rachel. I was here. I couldn't unmute it for some reason.
Okay, that's okay. Yep, I knew you were here anyway, but I'm glad you were able to come in and present yourself. All right, that said, we're gonna have a discussion. I'd like to ask Catherine Raymer to present a motion for proposed fiscal budget year of 2021.
I move to make the following adjustments to the proposed fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Reduce the Board of Education budget by $263,000. Authorize the use of bond premium in the amount of $326,700, resulting in the following budget. Town General Fund, $31 million. Sorry, Town General Fund, $31,091,105. School General Fund, $46,578,590. General Fund total, $77,669,695. Town Road Aid, $349,699. Water operations, $1,796,354. Water capital, $205,077. Sewer operations, $1,876,296. Sewer capital, $96,000. Water and sewer debt, $82,798. Crestbrook golf operations, $624,204. Local capital improvement, $153,041. And debt service fund, $1,025,076.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Please unmute yourself. Any discussion from the council? Who?
Tell me final beats, I'll be final beats. This is the best we can get, this is all we can get. I'm telling you. Marcy, please, I'm talking about it. Jerry, no, this is what you're doing.
Okay, I'll ask one more time. Council, please unmute yourself and any comments from the council. Discussion.
Yes, question, Anthony DeBona. Does this result, what is the mill rate that is going to be set based on this budget?
33.1.
The mill rate.
The mill rate, there will be a no mill rate increase, and it will be 33.19.
Same as last year.
Yes.
Any other? Okay. And I would like to also just to add that the town budget has already been decreased by $185,000. I'd like to put that into the record. Any other comments? Questions? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anybody opposed?
I'm in a meeting right now.
Anybody abstain?
Okay, I'll call you back.
Anybody abstain? So I am right in stating that and I believe Paul is not here. The vote is 8-0-0. 8-4-0 against and 0 abstention. Hearing that, can we have a motion for the governor's executive order?
I would make a motion to consider the resolution adopting the fiscal year 2020-2021 2021 budget and setting the mill rate pursuant to Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7I, Section 13, and 7HH, Section 1, for the fiscal year to be 33.1, due and payable on July 1st for 2020 for personal property taxes, motor vehicle taxes, the first installment of real estate taxes due on July 1, 2020, and the motor vehicle supplement, and second installment on real estate taxes due on January 1st, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Lou Raza,
Yep, Lou.
it's a 0 mil increase. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to be certain. Just so everyone in town knows it's a 0 mil increase.
Okay, exactly.
All right,
Anybody
thank you.
else? Okay, thanks, Lou. Anybody else? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Hearing no opposition, abstain, I will record it as an 8-0 vote. Motion passes. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So
Can I have a
moved.
second?
Second.
Motion is passed. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We will
Bye,
see
guys.
you. Bye-bye.
Oh.